Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at 4 things spotted in Arsenal training. So the first thing on the list is Bukayo Saka returned to Arsenal training after he had a very good season at the club and for country as he helped them get to the final. And Bukayo Saka is a player that I think will have an extraordinary season moving into the new season, in my opinion, because we all love Bukayo Saka. He's our star boy, and I think that when it comes to Bukayo Saka, I think we need to be behind him. We need to show his moral support, because remember, he is only 19 years old. He's someone that we need to show our support to. We need to show that he is a top level player, and if he can believe that himself, even though his mentality is very good, his personality is very good, his passion is very good, his determination is very good, I think moving into the new season, we're going to need to see a lot more from Bukayo Saka, a lot more clinical, a lot more goals, a lot more assists, in my opinion, because I think Bukayo Saka could be a very good talent, in my opinion, and we can clearly see that he is loved by everyone at the club, even by people outside of the club as well, for what he's done, how he's helped England throughout the Euros. And even though he's had that miss, that's something that could be recycling through his mind throughout his career, throughout his lifetime, throughout his mind. I think when it comes to Saka, he needs to realise that this is something that the top players do as well. The best players always take the 5th penalty and miss, and that's something that he will have to categorise himself into as well. And for me, Bukayo Saka, moving into the new game, I think it's a good game versus Tottenham Hotspur in the North London derby, but it's a pre-season friendly, but we can see that the players are going to be up for it. You saw how the teams were up for it in the previous London derby game with Arsenal and Chelsea, and there was a lot of energy, and hopefully the same could be said moving into the next pre-season friendly versus Tottenham. So the next thing on the list is Sambi Lokonga enjoys the weather, and you can clearly see that he is someone that finds it a bit too hot as he is next to the water, and you know, with the sprinklers he's been enjoying his time there. But Sambi Lokonga is someone that I think has going to have a good season, in my opinion, because I think from what I've seen so far, the way he's played the ball I like, the way he passes the ball I like, the way he gets the ball and looks only forward rather than backwards. But with Thomas Partey being injured and looking like Arsenal looking at other priorities such as a creative midfielder and a striker, Sambi Lokonga might get the opportunity to start versus Brentford and even start versus Tottenham Hotspur in the pre-season friendly, because if he impresses in that game, he'll definitely be given the opportunity against Brentford and hopefully the following games as well. But for me, Sambi Lokonga looks like a decent player. I think the way he gets the ball, the way he puts those diagonal crosses, the way he gets the ball and gets it through, it gives those lofted passes, I think he could be a great addition. And versing Tottenham, I think we all know that spirit, the hunger, the determination, everything's going to be there in that game. It's a London derby, but it's a North London derby. So Sambi Lokonga would really get a good fierce opportunity to really try out the Premier League, to see how it is, how the players are going to be, because to be honest, any league is not the same as the Premier League. I think you can survive at any league, but the Premier League, you need to have a little bit more dedication, a little bit more learning, a little bit more experience to really excel in this Premier League. And Sambi Lokonga, for me, could have a good season ahead, as I think that the way he's been moving around in training, the way he's been impressing, the way he's shown his dedication, his determination, and his passion, he could have a bright future. So the next thing on the list is Ben White impresses and enjoys training. As you can clearly see in this picture, we can see that Ben White is someone that Mikel trusts heavily. He's talked about it before Arsenal even wanted to sign him. We were talking about Mikel saying that he will be the future captain, with Mikel being a huge fan of his versatility. And we saw as soon as he got put on the half-time versus Chelsea, he makes basically a goal-saving opportunity, and he saves that for Arsenal and really prevents Arsenal's embarrassment, because Hakim Ziyech should have scored that goal, in my opinion. But Ben White, for me, has moulded very well. I think if Mikel gives him the minutes, I think he's a bigger upgrade, much bigger upgrade to Rob Holding, because I thought he was shocking in the game versus Chelsea, and I think his mindset is not right within the club at the moment. But when it comes to Ben White, I think we have a good player in our hands. I think Mikel has told Ben White that there's going to be a bit more bigger signings as well. He has told Ben White that will happen. Hopefully those are players that we have been linked with, such as James Maddison and Lautaro Martinez. But Ben White, for me, £50 million, some people might say it's too much. Some people might say it's a good deal. Some people might say it's not a good deal. But Ben White, for me, what he brings, what his character is, what his personality is, what his composure on the ball, I think that's something that we heavily need at this club. I think we looked very good defensively last season, but I think we were too defensive. We were too defensive as a team. That's why we were so bad attacking wise. But now we have the opportunity to have a good defender. I think he's calm and composed. I think he's a much better player on the ball. That's something that can work with Mikel Arteta's philosophy, and hopefully starts versus Tottenham. So the final thing on the list is Lacazette impresses and enjoys in training, and his situation for me is something that is a very interesting one in my opinion. We can clearly see Alexander Lacazette enjoying his training. There are talks that he said that he will want to stay with the Gunners, but there are also talks that are saying that Mikel Arteta wants to sell Alexander Lacazette, and he's already looked at a variety of replacements such as Tammy Abraham, the likes of Lautaro Martinez. But when it comes to Alexander Lacazette, you can see he's happy, he's got good teammates at the club, he's got a very good relationship with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But is his future going to be with the club? I think he might do another Mesut Ozil situation where he runs down his contract, because I don't think there's any other clubs that are willing to pay those wages at another club. And Lacazette, for me, he's a very good player. I think it's a different style of player that we need at the club. I think if we're going to revert putting Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang down the left-hand side and having a central striker, someone that has his back to the goal and tries to create things from his back to the goal, and not rather a player that looks for the free passes, I think Lacazette for me could have an amazing season. He could be given a contract extension. We've seen that with Granit Xhaka, it looked very likely to leave. But Mikel Arteta and Edu's philosophy throughout the transfer market is that they're not going to be any more players that are going to run down their deal. It's either you're going to be sold or you're either going to be given a new deal. And there are talks that he might be given a new deal as well. But you guys have to make your thoughts below in the comments. But Lacazette could be another one that enjoys his London derbies. He's someone that could impress in the game versus Tottenham. And with their new manager in the former Nuno Espirito Santo, I think this will be an interesting game for the Gunners. So these are 4 things that I have spotted in Arsenal training as the players prepare for their final pre-season friendly versus Tottenham. And it's a North London derby. Even though it's pre-season friendly, the rivalry is still going to be there. The players are going to be up for it. We saw how up for it they were in the game previously against Chelsea. Chelsea and Tottenham played today. So in this Mind series, I think Arsenal and especially Mikel Arteta has that pre-season training that he wanted, and hopefully we can implement this moving into the new season.